I am honored to stand here on stage in front of you today and give you a little glance of our ongoing journey. Hopefully, our story can inspire you, and I'm really happy having all of you here on our joint journey towards a smart, sustainable cities for the future. And now, let's get started.
The vision gave us a clear direction, a clear and compelling direction on what we wanted to do with the city, for the whole organization, but also the city as a whole. Yeah. Our politicians kind of gave us a destination, you might say, although they don't always agree on the road to the destination, which is okay. But it also gave us like a platform or foundation for understanding what cultural shift was needed in the organization to achieve that vision. So for instance, we are now much more, we are not doing strategies and plans. We are much more focusing on testing and learning.
No written documents?
Well, we have some, but we try to make them as few as possible, only when they're actually needed. Yeah. Also, we are focusing less on doing things right and more on doing the right things. And finally, we're also more prone to, we're less prone to think that innovation and change is somebody else's responsibility, and more accepting the fact that it should be each and everyone's everyday life.
Okay. All the 10,000 employees?
Most of them, I think.
Okay.
I hope.
I don't know. If you would say one thing that is important for us to do in order to achieve the city vision, what would that be?
I think, I think that we and other municipalities, I think the public sector as a whole, but in our case, I think we have to stop to look upon ourselves or our role as being a producer or a provider of services and become more as like an enabler. I think we have to remake the city to become a platform for others to build upon and develop upon. So less being in control and more being like a facilitator or enabler.
Okay. I have one more question
Okay.
I have wondered about. Because you have worked almost whole your life in the private sector.
Yes.
And now for
on the dark side.
Yeah, on the dark side. And now for the last couple of years you have been working on the bright side.
Yes, I've become a Jedi.
Yeah. What is the difference?
Oh my God, there are so many differences. Well, for my personally, it's, I mean, you can't compare the feeling of how rewarding it is to work with. I work for my own city. I mean, it's amazing. Yeah. You work with your own city and you're developing your own city where you live, where your family lives, and where your children hopefully will live when they grow up. And you can't actually have that feeling in the private sector.
Okay. Thank you so much, Micco, for sharing with us today.
Thank
Micco.
you.
The Vision Fund, please tell us a little bit more about this.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, the Vision Fund is a fund that is coordinated by the municipality, Helsingborg, as we all know. And it's a way of financing your dream and idea that you have about making Helsingborg a better place and a better city, as long as it aligns with the vision that the city has, Helsingborg 2035.
That's good.
And you can apply for top 100,000 Swedish krona, and that is about 9,000 euro. And we grant 1 million Swedish krona a year, which is about 90,000 euro. And we make dreams come true. Yes.
What would you say characterizes the people that apply for the Vision Fund?
They are amazing.
Yeah,
they're super driven. They have an idea and a vision about how they would like our city to look like and what it would contain. And they have so much different perspective of how this city should be in the future than we have, who works in the administration of the municipality, because they have different knowledge than us. And I think that is what is the best thing about the Vision Fund. The enabler become the doer of the city.
Yeah. Thank you, Alexandra.
Thank you.
During the past 10 years, we have focused on developing Drottninghög, a district that has struggled with both socially and economically challenges. But in a few years, the district transformation will be finalized, a process that has been done together with the people who live there. Tell us a little bit more about this.
Yes, sure. I'd love to. I think some of you actually came from Drottninghög this morning on a site visit. It's a public housing area just east of Helsingborg center. And just like you said, it's going through a large-scale transformation, both in a physical and a structural and in a social way. And through all this transformation, we do our work together with the tenants. So an example of that is before our first extensive refurbishment project, we visited our tenants, sat down at their dinner tables with family and friends, and talked about their hopes and dreams for the future, their fears, their daily lives in their neighborhood, and also their daily struggles. And all of the learnings and the findings of this dialogue, then we incorporated into the financial model of this refurbishment. So a sort of a bottom-up approach, securing our tenants' wants and needs. So a few examples of that is that in Drottninghög you're able to choose the level of refurbishment, and also you have a possibility to adapt to your new rent level, because we phase it over time.
I'm very proud of this as well. An applause. Thank you, Mikaela, for joining us today. So, is it fair to say that we became the best environmental municipality 3 years in a row because we built a system in which everyone, and I mean everyone, who lives and works in our city has a clear role in reducing our environmental footprint?
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely. But I also think that we as a municipality, we can't solve the future or the present environmental challenges on our own. It has to be done over organizational borders and city borders. And I think that everybody needs to do their share, and I think everybody needs to pitch in here and help us.
Yeah, that's great, Henrik. But can you give us a concrete example on the way that we have worked to get this award 4 times?
Yes.
Concrete.
Yeah, now it's concrete. One example is our environmental program, that we have mixed it with our public health program. And by this work we have created a quality of life program. It's a broad program, and it's political decided, and the focus on the program is that everything we do in the city should lead to a higher quality of life for the citizens. That's one example.
Yeah.
Another one is our climate change program. This is a program where we take out a 50% fee on every work journey by aeroplane.
50%?
50%, it's a lot of percents, and it's a lot of money. And we collect this money, and we offer free train journeys for our employees. And by this community climate change program, we have decreased the aeroplane journeys by 30%. And another example is our smart food concept in our schools. Here we have as a goal to reduce food waste by 50% and also the carbon dioxide effect.
Thank you, Henrik, for sharing with us your thoughts today.
Thank you.
Developing a landfill, in what way can that contribute to a better planet?
Well, traditional landfill rarely do. But what if we look at landfills in a different way? Why can't we look at landfills at gold mines?
Yeah.
full of resources. You know, Palle, it's just 1% of the waste in Helsingborg that ends up in a traditional landfill. 99% is
1%.
Yeah. 99% is recycled, but it's not done by us. It's done by ordinary companies located at our sites that produce products out of the waste that we look at resources.
Okay.
And for example, all of the food waste collected in the city is used for producing fuel and runs the buses.
And my car.
And your car.
Yeah.
And my car.
Yeah, okay.
And most of the cars. That makes it a fossil-free fleet of vehicles.
Yeah, in the city.
Yeah. And more, the plastic that we collect, we produce railway sleepers instead of the traditional that's toxic and so on. And out of the green waste, we produce particle boards, or have the competence to produce particle boards without any pollution.
Okay.
So that's some of the things that we do out of the traditional waste. And this way of collaboration between the public company and the companies, it's a unique way of creating an economy that's circular in real. And that had taken us to the next challenge.
What's that?
Zero waste.
Wow. Zero waste? That's a bold statement.
Bold? I wouldn't say that. It's necessary.
Okay.
You know, Palle, that's the largest man-made creation of planet Earth. Do you know what's that?
Yeah, you have told me that so many times, Kim.
Do you know? Is it the pyramids?
No.
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 Great Wall in China?
No.
No. It's fresh kills.
Where is that?
That's the landfill in New York.
Okay.
But we don't need to go further than Malmö. What's the largest thing in Malmö? It's the
Turning
landfill.
Torso?
Yeah,
No?
no, it's the landfill.
Okay.
And I think it's embarrassing for us, our generation too. The footprint of us, it's the landfills. Isn't it time to make a change here?
Yeah. Garbage is gold. That's a great new insight. Thank you, Kim. If you were to summarize age 22 in two or three sentences, what would you say then?
That's a hard one. 2 to 3 sentences. I would say that age 22, as we talked about yesterday, it's about how we can create the smart and sustainable cities for the future. That is one bullet point. It is about how we can use innovation for our urban development, how we can use innovation for our welfare development, and how we can create a vibrant city with a high quality of life. I also believe that, and I would also say it's about city governance. And city governance for me, it's about the political leadership, it's about the municipalities, leadership in the administration, and it's also about the companies, the associations, the citizens' role. How can we invite the citizens to actually create the city they want to live in? Like for example, yesterday we had Staffan Taylor here on stage for one of our breakouts, who gave his perspective on urban development. Very important. And then, of course, H22 is also about our big international city expo that will go on for 35 days, somewhere between May and July 2035. 2022. Oh, my God.
Whoa. Great. So now everybody knows what to do in the summer of 2022. Thank you, Soraya.
Thank you.
Do you have any good example on how we could work, or how we have worked on public spaces in Helsingborg?
What do you think?
I bet you have.
Of course. One example that I'm very, very proud of is our development of equal spaces. Together with teenage girls, we created a pink stairs.
Pink
Stairs.
pink stairs.
Important. The pink stairs were not the solution, but we wanted to highlight the problems of harassment. Our next step is to create a norm for equal planning with a focus on inclusive and inspiring places and spaces.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Kristina. Bo.
Yeah.
Öresundskraft is the city's energy and communication company. But aside from the responsibility of energy and fiber communication, you are also working with connectivity and enabling collection of different kinds of data. Could you tell us a little bit more about this?
Sure, it's fascinating, it's fun. What we have done, we have established a wireless network for sensor communication all over Helsingborg. And it's like a basic infrastructure in Helsingborg. As well as the fiber network, this is the network for sensor communication. And it's based on the same open model, so anyone can use it. We basically provide connectivity as a service in Helsingborg. So it really lowers the threshold for anyone that wants to get started with IoT. You only have to have a good idea and a sensor, and we provide the rest. And you know what the best is?
No?
We have not done this in Helsingborg. We have rolled it out with partners all over Sweden. So today, it's called the City Hub. There are city hubs in almost 50 different municipalities all over Sweden.
Simon, come here.
Yeah.
You were dealing with a challenge almost a year ago. A challenge that was connected to the situation when the preschool kids were going out to the yard for a play session. Together with the colleagues at Helsingborg Works, you have developed and tested an AI robot in your preschool. Tell us more.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of situations during a day at the preschool where the kids have questions, practical questions such as what's for lunch, or who's going to pick them up and when, or as you say, going out.
Yeah.
And imagine having an AI answering those questions and in an accurate way, thanks to the possibilities of the digital world.
Yeah.
And this was my idea that became reality thanks to my co-workers at HBG Works. And the result is called Liban.
Liban? Tell us more.
Yeah, well, the idea of Liban is that it's an AI robot answering questions and available all the time to the children.
Yeah.
And here you can see an example of Liban recommending what to wear when we go outside, depending on what weather it is. And a key factor in this is that the children are involved in the process and coming up with ideas and how to take the product further. And this makes them active developers and satisfied end users.
I really like this. This sounds like a real game changer. I can't help wondering what will happen when every student in the first grade gets their very own AI assistant. Imagine that.
Yeah, that would be cool.
And you, Bart, come here. You are testing something brand new in the port of Helsingborg.
Yeah, that's right. As you saw in the film in the beginning, the port of Helsingborg is the second biggest container port in Sweden. And all these containers are moved and transported by people behind the wheel in diesel-driven machines. And that we want to change. So we started a project looking at the possibility to have an autonomous electric vehicle in the port.
What would you say is the main challenge of implementing self-driving vehicles in a port?
Well, actually, the technology is there, but we need to have the legislation and the acceptance of the public. And for that, it's good to start in a closed environment where we can invite the legislators, look at it, how it functions in a closed area, and maybe update the legislation. And H22 is a perfect way of showing the public this is how we work, and it could lead to acceptance of this new technology.
Great. And that's exactly the way we should work. And Jenny, you are working on a project that involves 3D printed food. That sounds like something from the future.
Well, it kind of is. One of the greatest possibilities of new technique is that we can use it as a tool to transform traditional service to something new. I don't think that people 50 years ago thought that we could print food, but now we're actually in the startup phase to testing this live in our organization.
So this isn't futuristic service?
Now, there are already existing 3D printers in other kitchens. For example, when making advanced decorations or chocolate for cakes. But now we want to take it to the next level.
This is very inspiring. Just think about the possibilities that technology provides in the development of our city's welfare services. Thank you all for being up here with me today. All right, my friends, you have now been giving some insight in some of the work that's going on in Helsingborg. I hope that you have received some new thoughts and perspectives as an outcome of this session. And I really look forward to continue exploring how we can create a smart and sustainable cities of the future together, all of us. We have 17 sustainable development goals, and I'm sure that if we work together, we can and we will achieve them all. So thank you for listening. And now over to Aurora.
Well done.
Thank you.
Lovely. Palle, what a team you have.
Yeah.
Do you do any work at all?
No.
No.
No. I try to create the best condition for them to succeed, because and challenge them and inspire them to be brave and take new steps. Okay?
What drives you?
I think it is because I really love to see others succeed with their missions. And if I can be some little part of that to support them to succeed, that makes my day.
I will just give you a backstage insight. Your colleagues came back off a little nervous. Clearly, you guys have been prepping, and standing on stage is not the normal setting, because you're out in the field doing work, and this isn't a regular day. And one of your colleagues got off, and then after a few minutes of, I survived, she was like, I can get back on again. This was fun. This is and it's pushing yourself to the next limit and realizing it's easy, it's fun. So well done. You've got a happy team behind you here.
But sometimes they think I'm a pain in the ass.
They said that too. They said that too.
Because I challenge them all the time. And because I think it's very dangerous to be satisfied, because we have so lot of work to do to create this smart and sustainable city. And I really believe that we in the cities have a key role in this work.
And a slight cynical view on this could be that you've just had an hour and 15 minutes on stage bragging, showing off what you're doing. But as we were talking off stage yesterday as well, this is an opportunity obviously to highlight your team members, but more importantly, this is showcasing reaching out the hand to other cities. And I'd love for you to share with the audience your thoughts on how to collaborate with other cities in terms of you learning and bridging to others.
I would say steal from the best. And
says the pain in the ass.
Yeah. Steal from the best and share as much as you can with others. That's the way we work in Helsingborg. We steal from others and we share everything. And then it's about the culture. You have to create a culture with brave persons that dare to make mistakes. Because in the mistakes we have the development, there we have the things that we can learn from. And we have driven it. So we have said, we have an annual award that we pick out the best mistake ever done in the organization. And that award we give in front of all the managers once a year. And it's not the mistake that gets the award, it's the lesson learned that gets the award. Because we cannot only talk, we have to live this in the whole organization. And then create a culture where the employees love to cooperate with others, both in the organization, as you said, they really love to work together, and we have really fun working together, but also that we have a culture that we also want to work with others outside.
I was having dinner last night with Mr. Amsterdam, who said, you guys have made 4 trips to Amsterdam this year.
Yeah.
Priming, listening, asking, taking notes, taking pictures.
Yeah. That's the way to go.
And inviting them here.
Yeah,
which
absolutely.
I assume that H22 is the pinnacle of.
The whole world is welcome.
So what do we hope? What's our wish list today for H22?
It's to really think for us that we have all the whole municipality is a big test bed. So we want to open up the organization, open up the municipality to invite companies, organizations, people who wants to come and test new things, new solutions, new technique. Because
I love the body language.
because
Come and test with us.
Yeah, because I really think that we have to do this together.
Yeah.
We can't manage this for our own in the city.
Well, Palle, we did an Instagram, just the 2 of us.
Yeah.
On the topic of together.
We take them up. The whole gang.
Guys, we're living together and doing... Yeah, there are 2 here. There we go. Let's do a proper Instagram.